It's Bunny Love, and I'm back with another review. This one is on Lisa, my 600-pound life. I want to say a couple things before I even get into this review. First and foremost, I was quite iffy about even doing this review because, you can't please everybody, and you cannot expect everybody to jump on the bandwagon of whatever it is that you're going to do, or, be in agreement with everything that you do. However, because Lisa is deceased, okay, this is a lot of the reason why I just did not want to go there. And I said that in previous videos within the last week. I did not really want to go there because the family, I'm sure, is still grieving. Okay. Lisa chose, this was Lisa's choice. Lisa could have done better. She could have done better, and she could still be alive if she had chose to turn her situation around. But she didn't do that, okay? And because of that, she's no longer here. Regardless of the reason, the family, I'm sure, is still grieving, And I'm the type of my 600-pound life reviewer that really not just my 600-pound life, but any show that I review, I'm honest. I'm going to give my honest opinion of how I honestly saw it. I'm not nice to those that didn't do what they were supposed to do. I'm just going to keep it 100 all the way around the board. I'm not going to sit here and baby them or, no. If you were a train wreck, that's what the fuck you were. You were a train wreck, and I'm going to say it, And honestly, in my opinion, that's what Lisa was. She was a train wreck. And I had planned on reviewing every other cast member on this show, except for her. But the reason is because of the family. And I've had experiences where I've done reviews on cast members and the family have come in, they have come in attacking in comments. They don't like what I had to say. Their feelings was hurt. And that's fine. But the only thing, this person is no longer alive. And I do respect the dead, even though she didn't do what she was supposed to do. I do respect the dead. Also, she had maggots growing on her skin. That was another reason why I was like, I don't know. Because every time I think about that, I get the fucking shivers. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. I just didn't want to even put my mind back in that place where, this cast member says she had maggots on, in her folds around the decaying flesh. It's just gross. I didn't even want to talk about it no more. But several people have made the request. They said, can you please speak on this? Do a review on Lisa. So I'm going to go ahead and do it and get it over with. Okay. So we start the scene off with her daughter and her grandson. That's one thing about this episode I did not like. I didn't care for it. She had the grandson in there helping her daughter flip her over, turn her around, and all that kind of stuff when she was in the bed naked. Why would you... The daughter, I can understand that. Okay, you need help from a female. A grown female that's going to help clean you, bathe you, and all that. But why in the world would you have your grandson in there looking at you like that? I don't care if you're in a situation where you are... You're helpless. You can't do it. You need some help. You need all the help you can get. Find somebody else to do it. It should not be your grandson or any of your minor children looking at you naked because you need help to be flipped over to get your ass washed. That part I did not like. I didn't care for that. I've seen several cast members on this show that way, and they have their children washing them. Mila Clark, her story was absolutely wonderful except for that one part. That's the one part of the show I didn't care for. She had her children cleaning her up and looking at her private areas. it was like, no, you just don't do stuff like that. But anyway, we started off the scene with the daughter and the grandson. The grandson was helping to turn her. The daughter was washing her up, and they showed her leg where she had to kind of like open her leg up a little bit. Bend it back rather. And the daughter had put on a glove, and she put some type of cream or something behind, on the back of her leg. I'm assuming that's where the maggots were growing. And then Lisa, and that's when Lisa stated, it's hard to keep myself clean. I had to, my daughter, she looked behind my leg and she saw little maggots growing. Well, that it made me cringe at first when I first watched this episode. I was like, "Oh, that is disgusting." But even though it made me cringe, it was still, interesting information. I never heard of anything like that before. So I Googled it. And I'm thinking maybe she's the only woman, that's ever been on television that had that issue where maggots were literally growing in her, on her skin. And that's not true. There's another woman in another country, morbidly obese, and she had maggots growing all over her legs. Oh, this is gross. I don't even keep talking about this. But but that's part of this review. So it happens. I say all that to say Lisa's not the only person that had this issue. It had happened to her. I can't remember the woman's name, but I did read about it a while back, and it makes sense. It makes sense. If you're not keeping yourself clean and you really that foul to where you're not washing at all, and you've got all this flab, all this fat that's piled up on, like layers piled up on each other of nothing but fat, and you're not washing back there, your skin is going to start to decay. And that's what maggots are attracted to. They're attracted to decaying flesh. So, yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense that I'm moving on. I don't talk about that shit no more. Right? Because it's nasty. Okay. So the daughter says she's overwhelmed. Lisa says she was hungry. So she said, I'm hungry. Can you cook me something to eat? So the daughter goes in there and cooks cheese, rice, turkey, bacon, all this unhealthy shit. She couldn't get up and walk, so they should have just brought her ass a salad. That part I didn't understand. I didn't understand that part. She's immobile. Stop cooking her all that crazy shit. Bring her a fucking salad back. She either take that salad or leave it. Was she gonna get up and fight you? No, she was immobile. She couldn't get up. So let her take the damn salad. So the daughter talks about how she's overwhelmed, but that's her mama. You only get one mama. So, she's doing what she feels she should do, for her mother, because that's the only mother she has. So she reaches out to Dr. Now, and Dr. Now and Lisa do a Skype conference. He asks her pretty much how much does she weigh. She's saying 600 and something, and Dr. Now was like, no, you look like you about 700 and something. This doctor been in the business a long time. He can pretty much look at these patients. He's to the point now where he can look at y'all and tell, get a roundabout, idea of how much you weigh. He was just kind of looking at her like, just from a Skype conference. No, you don't look like you 600. You look like you about 700. So, he basically talked about her lymphedema. She has severe lymphedema, which is why she was immobile. And he did a Skype conference with the daughter, and he said, look, I need you to do me a favor. You're the only one bringing her this food. You're the only one that can give her something to eat. Stop bringing her bad foods. Only bring her what's healthy. So she went along with that. She went along with what the doctor said. Lisa wanted to have her last little bit of Coke soda before. She said, let me have my soda. And the daughter was like, no, the diet starts right now. So she took the drink from her. Good. Because at first you weren't doing that. Beginning of the episode, you were giving her, feeding her a whole bunch of bullshit. And even prior to the Skype conference, she's got another daughter that was in there frying chicken for her and all that for lunch. And that particular daughter said, you know, Mama, I cook for you. I bring you anything you want. But I just can't bathe you. You know what? She probably didn't want to bathe her because of the finding out she had, you know, maggots on her. I don't really want to get back into that, but yeah, that's probably why she was like, if that's the case, if you like that, I can't do it, but I can cook for you or whatever. That's just my opinion. I'm assuming that just what I think based off the show. I think she probably just didn't want to do it because, you know, because of that situation there where she had insects growing on her and shit. Okay, so Dr. Now sends medical transport to her home in Mobile, Alabama. He sends an ambulance there to come get her, take her to Houston. The oldest daughter drives down behind them and meets up with them once they get to the hospital. When they get to the hospital, they trying to get Lisa out of the ambulance. The whole time, from when they left her home up to getting to the hospital, she was very dramatic, very overly dramatic. When she finally got to the hospital, she was carrying on like she was in so much pain. And even Dr. Now said either she's in a lot of pain or she's just overly dramatic. You know, I think it might have been a combination of both. I'm not going to discredit her pain. I'm not going to say she wasn't in pain, but Lisa was a very dramatic. She's quite dramatic. She was quite dramatic. So they weigh her in the bed. She weighs in at 704. So the doctor told her, he was like, you told me you were 600 and something. He said, you way off. You 704 pounds. He said, that's what I thought, you know. I thought that you all were kind of off about her weight or whatever. She denies eating poorly. Of course, you know, Dr. Now going to ask those questions. How have you been eating? You know, and how much do you eat? I don't know why people do that. When they meet up with him, tell the truth. Be honest. Have you been eating like a hog? And, you know, or not? Or what kind of foods do you eat? Don't tell me you just eat a little small meal here and there. If that's the case, you wouldn't have got to 700 pounds. Like, come on now, stop lying. Stop lying. So Dr. Now puts her in the hospital on a forced control diet. At the same time, her lymphedema had improved while she was in there. So he was working on her leg. I think there was some type of infection too. So he worked on trying to get that better. And she lost weight while she was in there. Because, of course, when you're in the hospital under Dr. Now's direction, you're going to be eating healthy. You ain't going to be eating no bullshit. I want to say, and I've said this in other videos, I understand it's probably difficult to keep yourself clean when you get, like, really clean, when you get to 600-700 pounds. I get that. But Dr. Now calls these people out on being dirty. He did. And in the My 600 Pound Life discussion groups, discussion forums, I see people talking about, I see people talking about how hard he is on the cast members. I don't think so. I disagree with that. I cannot agree. He's just telling them the truth. How is the truth? The truth sometimes can be difficult to hear, but it's needed. It helps you. It helps you. He just basically told her, you ain't been keeping yourself clean like that, you know? And that's probably why the situation with her leg was as bad as it was when she first went to the hospital, because I don't know. I get that it's difficult to keep yourself clean when you in the hospital. I'm sorry, when you're that big, I get it. But getting that big is self-inflicted. So if you know that you've gotten yourself to that point and you know it's going to be rough for you to get in the shower or wash certain parts of your body, you're just going to have to suck it up and deal with it. You're just going to have to deal with that pain while going through what you got to go through to get yourself clean. Because it's self-inflicted. Nobody did it but you. So don't cry about how painful it is when you washing up. You did that to yourself. But nobody want to be Nope, nobody want to be around somebody that's stinking either. I don't want to be around somebody smell like shit or, smell like they've been sweating for years and never wiped that nasty shit off the. Clean your ass. Clean your ass. So, and I'm sure he's used to that. Dr. Now is used to that. I mean, people come in there dirty all the time because he know that big people are not going to really, I ain't going to say everybody. I'm not going to say everybody. I'll say a lot of people that are super morbidly obese, they just not really with taking showers all the time. And yeah, it's hard, but you did that to yourself, So, she gets out of the hospital. She lost 87 pounds while she was in there. But that was because of the doctor. She didn't do it on her own. She gets her new apartment. The daughter, Danielle, helps her to get settled into her place. And Danielle says, you know what? I got to go back to Alabama. My mama's down here in Texas. I got to go back to Alabama. But her boyfriend is going to take over. She said, and I worry that he's not going to be tough on her as far as what she's supposed to eat. And you know what? She was correct. She was correct. He wasn't. He was giving her what she wanted. And I don't want to say it would be hard for me to say that he did that on purpose to keep her fat. I don't want to say that because it's possible. I mean, that is a possibility, but I don't want to say that that's what it was because he never showed me any type of evidence that that's what he was trying to do. He never made statements of how maybe he enjoyed how she needed him or he had the control. Usually that's the case, but I think in this case it might have just been like a mental thing because Lisa was really good at manipulating people. I think he just wanted to keep her happy so he wouldn't have to hear her fuss. The whole control thing, I can't really say that about him because I didn't pick up on that. I usually do, but I didn't in this case. And they weren't used to really being around each other like that. They had met online, and I think that was like really one of the very first times he ever was really, really like shown up around her. So the control thing, possible, but I think he just wanted to keep from hearing her mouth, and he just wanted to make her happy and give her the foods that she wanted to eat, knowing damn good and well she was not supposed to be eating them. So the physical therapist comes out, works with her. All he did was sit her up on the bed, which she sat up. She was in bed and she sat up on the side of the bed, which was, I guess, progress for her, but I felt like maybe he could have done more, or maybe he did do more, because my 600-pound life is edited. So maybe that's just all they showed us. But I think they could have showed us more because that's all they showed. And it was like, that's not really no physical therapy, but it's better than laying down. I mean, you still sitting, but it's better than laying down all day. You sitting up on the side of the bed. It's somewhat progress, I guess, for somebody that was in her condition. The dietitian come out. Now, this is the interesting part. The dietitian comes out. And, I mean, she was tough. That little lady was tough. She went in there and she went through all that food. You heard me. She threw that shit in the trash. She asking Lisa, she said, what is this? So Lisa said, oh, that's Herbert's. Herbert, I'm telling you, if Herbert is eating this, you're eating it too. You're eating it too. So she said, well, he give me little things and I do favors for him. So the nutritionist was like, so you trying to say that you exchanging sex for food? Like, is that what you're saying? Like, that's basically what Lisa was saying. She does little things for him sexually so that she can get the foods that she wants. And the nutritionist is like, I have no problem with you having a healthy sex life, but at the same time, these foods are not healthy. So when they put the camera on her and she was just speaking alone, the nutritionist, she says she's trying to deflect. She was definitely, I agree. She was definitely trying to deflect and get off of what was important. And she was trying to change the subject and take the focus off of what she's not doing that she's supposed to do and put it on to something else. BS. You ain't supposed to eat that shit. Thank you to that nutritionist. Even though the end result, Lisa is deceased, it's not like it helped any, but she did the right thing. She went in and threw that shit away. Thank you for being tough. That's what the fuck we need. these people need people that's tough on them. They need an understanding, but they also need toughness and they need the truth. Don't pacify these motherfuckers. They grown. Yeah, they got issues. They got mental issues. They got stuff wrong with them. They got, it's a psychological type of addictive type thing. We get it. But at the same time, ain't nobody with baby and no grown person either. So that's that bullshit. You know what I mean? So, okay. So, moving on. You could tell Lisa was quite disappointed. I mean, she gave that nutritionist help. Put it back. Put their food back. Nutritionist was like, no, it's going in the trash. It's going in the trash. So we go into month 4. Lisa is sent back to the hospital to be weighed. Herbert is with her. 587 pounds was the goal. She weighs in at 464. So what is that saying? I'm sorry. 646. I'm sorry. It's early in the morning. I'm half asleep. I'm sorry. It may not seem like it, but I'm half asleep. It's like 6 in the morning. Okay, so she weighs in at 646. Okay. So then she went up 29 pounds. Doctor now knows she's bullshitting. And he knows that Herbert is still giving her food she's not supposed to eat. Legs are worse. There's an infection in her legs. The doctor says she's not bathing as she should. Right. She's not. Heavyset people don't bathe like they supposed to. Most of them don't. I ain't gonna say all. I'll just say most of them don't. Okay, and that's probably why her infection was worse. And what man? And that's what I want to know. What man wants to be with a woman that's not clean? Herbert was with her, and she was not all that clean. I'm not really with or agree with your partner being too much of your caretaker. That's not cool because then the desire for them at some point is going to end up diminishing because you're a caretaker and you're not an actual partner. But even with that being the case, he could have helped out some. You gonna let her lay there and just be stinking like that? Like, what kind of man does that? You gonna stay with a woman? Okay, she big, she's immobile, we get it, but you could have at least helped her to sit up on the side of the bed. You didn't have to wash her. She could have washed herself, but helped her get up, sit up on the side of the bed, wash certain parts of her body. Why would you want to be with a woman that's stinking? How can you tolerate a woman that's stinking? That just doesn't make sense. So, okay, all right. The doctor now gets on to both of them. You enabling her, okay? Like, Herbert is not helping. The doctor now got on her case and got on his. Especially when he found a potato chip bag. It was a bag of Doritos. I think it was an empty bag of Doritos in her bed. And the doctor said, where did this come from? Oh, Herbert was eating this. No, Herbert wasn't eating it. Your ass was eating that shit. You were eating it, Lisa. I know she can't hear me. She's deceased, but see, that's why I really didn't want to do this. Because I usually do address the cast member straight out, and I can't address her. She's gone. God rest her soul. God rest her soul. God rest her soul. So, okay. Antibiotics are administered to stop the infection in her leg. Herbert sits and has talked with her about getting better. He said he wants to get her to a point of walking so he can marry her. Claims he wants them to lose weight together. She starts crying. How you going to want the two of y'all to lose weight together and you bringing her all the shit she's not supposed to eat? Okay, moving on. After some time in the hospital, she goes to a psychotherapist. No, she goes home and the psychotherapist comes to her. So Lola comes out and talks to her. And Lola gets to the bottom of what's going on. Lisa pretty much was fearing that the people that she loves was going to leave her. I don't know how she came to that conclusion, but Lola's usually right. So I don't doubt her assessment. Lola's usually pretty on point with these cast members. She's an excellent therapist. One of the best he's had on the show. Her and Dr. Paradise, really good doctors. So I didn't really see that, but if that's her findings, I'm not going to debate it. Okay, so they go. They're in the home, and Lola has left out. So Herbert asked her, what does she want to eat? Lisa said, I want pizza. Herbert said, you know you're not supposed to be eating that. Finally you saying something to her about what she's not supposed to eat. Finally, after you've been enabling her and giving her all this bullshit, now you want to stand up to her. And then she says, if you don't give me what I like, I won't give you what you like. So that's her way of letting him know, I'm probably not going to give you no dome, and that's probably all she could have did. She was big. She probably could only, if that was even true, she probably could only please him in an oral way. Like you know what I'm saying? But we ain't got to get into all that. Whatever. Moving on. Lisa admitted in one of the voiceovers that she was losing all motivation. She just didn't have the willpower to go forward. And we could tell. It seemed that way. It wasn't there. It wasn't there. This is why she wasn't being serious about the diet. She had given up mentally a long time ago, even though it probably didn't seem that way. But mentally, she had given up. Somebody that is with it, as far as, they in their right frame of mind, they're going to do what they need to do. Even though they know it's hard, they're going to do what they need to do to lose the weight. But she wasn't even trying. So it was obvious that she wasn't with it. You know what I mean? So for her to say that, I think we already kind of know that. So Lisa starts screaming and crying and stuff. Just talking about how she's not motivated and she's having all this pain in her legs. So she ends up going back to the emergency room. Dr. Nell comes in to see her. He talks to her about her eating habits. She gives him all of this bullshit about how she can't buy pads and she has to buy pads and groceries and other stuff since she can't afford to pay for healthy food. So Dr. Nell said, well, if you can't afford to get healthier food, that's even more of a reason for you to lose weight. Correct. If you don't have the money that you need to get healthier foods, that means you're going to fast. You ain't going to be eating nothing. And when you're not hardly eating anything, the weight's going to come down. So it was bullshit. She just didn't want to eat healthy. This is when she goes bananas in the hospital before they actually take her up to her room. She goes bananas. Just leave me alone. Let me go back to Alabama. I don't care. I'm sick of this. Just leave me alone. Dr. Now is not buying it. He's like, so you want to put on this performance for me and you just want to do what you want to do. That's what this is about. That's the bottom line. I watched a clip of this episode on YouTube and I was just thumbing through the comments. I'm always looking through comments to see the public's opinion. And there were several people that said, oh, she had a mental issue. That was a cry for help. That wasn't no cry for help. Everybody tried to help her the best way that they could, and she didn't want to take it. So what do? You leave that type person alone. It's unfortunate that she lost her life because of this. But at the end of the day, you can only help somebody as much as they want to help themselves. I'll say once again, I am sorry for the family. It's got to be hard to lose your mother. I wouldn't know. My mother's still here in the land of the living. I still have my mother. You know what I mean? So that's not something that I've ever experienced. You understand what I'm saying? But I can only imagine that losing your mother has got to be a hard thing. She lost her mother, okay? And she had both of her daughters on the show. They lost their mother. Grandchildren lost their grandmother. I get it. It's... I can't say I know where they're coming from, but I understand losing anybody close to you is hard. So I'm sorry for them. I'm sorry for them. And you could tell their oldest daughter was frustrated. She was sick and tired of going through this with her mother. She was at her wit's end. She was doing everything that she could. But you cannot help a person more than they have to want to help themselves. If they're not going to do it, what can you do? And that's why Dr. Nell wasn't buying that performance that Lisa was putting on. Lisa just wanted to do her. This is one thing I don't understand. Why do any of these cast members even bother to reach out to Dr. Nell if they're not serious? You wasting his time, you wasting everybody else's time. Family that wants you to get yourself together. That actually reminds me of Erica. I'm going to be doing her review next. Erica and Zaylin. Theirs is coming up next. But Erica's going to be next. This story kind of reminds me of her too, because her family was fed up with her. They were so fed up. They were helping her, but they was fed up with her. They were so fed up with her to the point where they really just didn't want to go through. They did it, but you could tell they was tired of the shit. They was tired of the shit. They was tired. So, and that's Lisa's family was kind of frustrated as well. They were tired, but you cannot instill willpower in a person. You cannot instill strength in a person. You can try to motivate them the best way that you can. But if they don't want to be motivated, it ain't nothing you can do about it. It's nothing you can do. And this is why she ended up the way that she did. Unfortunately. She lost her life. So anyway, continuing on with this episode. Afterwards, they take her up to her room. And she threatens to kill herself, talking to Dr. Now. She threatens to kill herself. Dr. Now knows that that's just some bullshit she talking to, trying to manipulate him. You can't manipulate the doctor now. He's 75 years old. He done been there, done that. He's too wise, too intelligent, too educated. You can't play a mind game with that man. He knows. So he said, I don't believe her, but I still can't take those type of statements lightly. So he has somebody come in and evaluate her threats of suicide. She said she wanted to blow her brains out. When she got evaluated, they came to the conclusion that she's not suicidal. So whoever came and evaluated her could see straight through the bullshit as well. And so Dr. Now puts her out of the program. She goes back to her apartment in Houston. Danielle visits her to see how she's doing, her daughter. And Lisa basically told her she gives up. Danielle said, I can't have you giving up. You got to be here for me and these grandkids. You got to. So then Lisa said, okay, all right, well, I'll try. And then the episode ends. And then that was it. That was the end of the episode. I normally don't do this, but I'm just going to say I hope I did not disrespect anybody as far as the family is concerned, because I do my best to respect the dead. I've done other videos on cast members that are deceased, Kelly and Sean. Kelly actually put forth effort, so that's why my video on her I was not hard on her. And then Sean, he didn't put forth effort, but I felt sorry for him because he had just lost his mother. So it was like, how in the world can anybody expect that boy to go on? He was lonely. His father really didn't fuck with him. His father was not around. He had very minimal interactions with his dad. Mother had just died, and he's 900-something pounds, and no family or friends. So my heart just went out to the young man. I just really felt sorry for him. It was like food was all he knew, and that's like one of the only few cast members I've ever felt sympathy for. Sympathy is a personal choice. It is a personal choice. I can't tell people who they should and should not feel sorry for. I just know who I did and did not feel sorry for. Majority of the cast members, I don't feel sorry for them. I get it that addiction is powerful, but addiction is still a choice. If nobody puts a gun to your head to make you put that food in your mouth, you're doing it because you want to do it. You don't have to do it. Yeah, addiction is powerful. I will say that. It is powerful. It's hard. It's hard. But that doesn't mean you can't beat it. So, BS. Sometimes you have to determine what's more important. Your life or another burger or a bucket of chicken or potato chips or soda or whatever the fuck you've been eating. What's more important? So, I'm hoping I did not disrespect anybody. My condolences to the family. Lisa's only been deceased for about a year now, so my condolences, and I wish the family well. Next review will be Erica's. I'm gonna do that sometime or another later on today. I should have some time after I get out of class. I've just been very busy. I'm going to nursing school, and I try to get these videos out as much as I can. I will have some time this afternoon. to get at least another good 4 or 5 videos out. Follow me on all social media. The ending of this video will have where you can find me on the net, and my description box will have where you can find me on the net, other social media platforms. Peace and blessings. I love you. Thank you very much for watching.